I've been a fan of the Munsters since I was watching television. So for me, this was the opportunity to do a show about a family, but they also happen to be monsters. So that was one of the things that I thought was so important to this reimagining, is to be able to see the monsters in a way where they're actually functioning as monsters. Because in the original, they were a family that looked like monsters, but they didn't behave like monsters. And for us, they look less like monsters, but they behave more like monsters.
There's the same cast of characters. There's Herman, the patriarch, who's Frankenstein, essentially. There's Lily, who is a vampire. Her father, Grandpa, who is basically Count Dracula, or we refer to him as D. And little Eddie Munster, who's somewhat of a werewolf. And Marilyn, who's the only misfortunate normal in the family.
For Grandpa, we really wanted to take the essence of what they did with the original, which was they based their grandpa on Bela Lugosi and Todd Browning's Dracula. What we kind of did with our version is base our Dracula on Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Lily is the daughter of Dracula, and she has a very special relationship with her father. They both share the same bloodlust. The difference is that Lily is very conscious of being a mother and doesn't want to kind of freak out her kids or her child and other members of the neighborhood, while Grandpa's kind of really desiring to recapture the way things used to be. So she's very much in love with Herman, but in a way she's kind of she's married someone, I don't want to say beneath her, but kind of.
Well, beneath her applies because he was actually 6 foot in the ground beneath, so that is appropriate.
And Grandpa's constantly, reassembling Herman to keep him alive.
The sweet thing about Herman is he is a character who is in a constant state of decay, married to a woman who doesn't age, so that has a certain amount of insecurities that go with that territory. So what we have in their relationship that's special is him essentially being built for her, and he is in service of her, so that metaphor of the father-in-law who creates a man for his daughter, we really carry through literally, and Grandpa sewn pieces of dead flesh together to create the perfect man for his daughter.
That's the reason we titled the show Mockingbird Lane. It's not necessarily a remake of The Munsters. It's a show that has been inspired by The Munsters.
I'm more good friends with his friend Ted. That's the one I talked to all the time.
Yeah, sure.
There we go, EPK. There are the first stitches. You can see the wrist cuts. Here, let's show this to them. See? Spooky. So nice.
Yeah, in both of them. So how old are your kids now?
Okay, you ready? Get a close-up of these. Pretty sketchy, huh? We don't put it on the back because I wear a shirt, so you don't see that, but this is all you see. Like my head could fall off at any moment. Take out one of these strings.
Spotlight on the arts. I'm Bryan. You're tuned to Southern California's classical station, KUSC Los Angeles, a listener-supported radio station.
This is the bit where I disappear. Going.
So what we have here, this is Herman's walk-around chest. This is basically so they could remove his hearts. It's got a zipper on here. This unzips. This opens up here. Little blue screen template in there so we could basically comp in a deeper cavity. And then this piece also sticks in here like this. We also have an insert chest that basically this is set up on a hinge that opens up.
I'll just show that. Sometimes the glue gets a little cold when it's down low. It's a little ticklish.
Here's the big reveal.
You like it, right? 2 hours later, right?
Insides are blue.
I'm like Mystique in there. I feel like I'm the Tony Roma's.
Where's the lobster?
Oh, that'd be the
Then you go like this. You go, and there'll be some kind of reaction. Like you'll start to, the life will ebb out of you. You'll put the new, you'll take the new clean heart. You'll stick it back in, and then you'll reach for this thing here, and you'll go staple, sit, and you'll staple it in. Say your goodbye, because when it goes,
Put that back in.
take that out. Yeah.
Take this out. It doesn't feel like me.
Yeah.
I was rather proud of it. Put that back in. Clean it first.
I think we should have the water over there. They should know whether or not they can get it.
Yeah, it's true.
Firstly, Eddie Izzard playing Grandpa is he's hysterical, and he's also a different take on the Grandpa character. His name is D. We call him D, which is short for Dracul. Bryan Fuller's shows are huge. They're colorful. They're eye candy. They're deep. His characters are rich, and there's just no other person that should have taken this project on than Bryan Fuller. He's a master. As you can see, I don't have the raised forehead. We did go with some scars here, like my head was attached. I have to unzip my heart and show Lily, my wife, played by the very lovely and talented Portia de Rossi. I have to show her my heart. And this is blue screen. They'll put computer-generated stuff in there. I mean, it's pretty gruesome, as you can see. While it is an homage to the original, I think it's going to be very enjoyable for people who don't know the original. I'm just trying to assimilate in this suburban life and try and be as normal as possible, and let's stop eating our neighbors, and let's stop going about our Munster ways. And Eddie Izzard, Grandpa, wants nothing to do with that. He's very proud to be a Munster, and he wants everyone to know that he is a Munster. Eddie, my son, who I care very much about, is starting to go through puberty, and with that comes turning into a werewolf. And he's, growing hair in strange places. It's just brilliant what Bryan Fuller has done. It's sort of an allegory to young men going through changes in their lives, only this young man happens to be becoming a werewolf.
Two cameras. Hey, Mark.
So we should fight no sound first. Action!
having their way with you. Seems you broke your heart. Shame on you for being so sentimental.
It's my heart. It's sentimental by definition.
That's right.
Oh, that's my last original part. Put that back in. Take this thing out.
This thing is a piece of genius.
Put my heart back in. Clean it first. Please. It doesn't feel like me.
You're too attached to how things were. I mean, were is now werewolf.
And he knows I'm lying to him.
He can smell your deceit. You've never raised a werewolf. I have.
Have you raised one successfully?
Leslie was born covered in hair. I knew exactly how to raise him.
You hired nannies to raise him, and then you let him eat the nannies.
Well, that's what they were hired for.
I know exactly how to raise Eddie.
You were never a monster until I made you a monster. Eddie was born one. There's nothing you ever have done or can do as a parent that will change them. Okay, you ready? Sneeze. Tell Eddie there is no baby bear. And say goodbye to that thing. Because when it goes, and it will go, all the king's horses and all the king's men will never put Humpty together again.
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
All right, are we ready? Seconds away. Thank you.
Open.
Can you just change transmitters on it?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, nobody can be here. We got a reflection issue. Everything's gonna walk out of here.
Sound speed.
2 cameras. Hey, Mark.
Here we go. Rehearsal. Ready? And action.
I don't understand any of this. I couldn't get him to sweep off the front porch, and he works himself to death painting the neighbor's house.
Strangest thing about grieving is when you realize that the death of a loved one really isn't that big of a deal.
Why would you say that to me?
Have you had a cookie?
I am gluten-free.
Very sorry for your loss.
Shut up. Shut up.
Since I got a pulse.
Got a pulse.
We need a paramedic.
He's alive!
Tim! Tim!
Marie? Perfectly good, Hal, and you had to call an ambulance.
Very good. Thank you, Connie.
I am the patriarch of the family. It is my family. They are my pawns, really. The family I see as my foot soldiers in my mission to destroy all humanity. It's a family show. It's about family values the other way around, because I'm trying to kill everyone. Eddie has turned out to be a werewolf, so I'm quite pleased about this. Very pleased, really, because you can't do much with humans. Humans are really a waste of space. I have a very ambivalent attitude towards my son-in-law, Herman, who I have made for my daughter, for Lily, and he sort of works a bit too much like a human. His heart feels too much, and I don't like this attitude in him. I don't like the fact that he is sentimental. I don't like any of that. It is imaginative, it is dark, it is dramatic and twisted and offbeat and funny, but weird funny. We could learn about humanity by learning about monsters.
Action!
I don't understand any of this. I couldn't get him to sweep off the front porch, and he worked himself to death painting the neighbor's house.
The strangest thing about grieving is realizing the death of a loved one really isn't that big of a deal.
Why would you say that to me?
Could you have a cookie?
I am gluten-free.
I'm very sorry for your loss.
Shut up! Shut up!
We got a pulse. He's alive!
Tim! Tim! Ah! Marie?
Perfectly good heart, you had to go and call an ambulance. Traitor.
Connie.
Show the camera.
Set. Action!
I think something's wrong with Grandpa. He took off all of his clothes and then he ate a lion.
You weren't at the zoo, were you?
The forest. Grandpa and Marilyn were teaching me about the circle of life and suicidal deer.
The circle of life is a violent shape.
Maybe what Grandpa's looking at.
Your grandpa's just trying to help you understand there's an order to life. So you don't hate the baby bear when they attack.
I don't hate that baby bear. It was probably hungry and confused.
That's exactly right. That baby bear was so confused it couldn't possibly know what it was doing.
And it's not like I wandered into a populated area. Which reminds me, if Grandpa's gonna start drinking people...
Martin?
27 Alpha, take 2.
Scene
27 Alpha, take 3.
Sealed and crypt?
Gotta come up with something new every time.
Set. And action.
I think something's wrong with Grandpa. He took off all of his clothes and then he ate a lion.
You weren't at the zoo, were you?
The forest. Grandpa and Marilyn were teaching me about the circle of life and suicidal deer.
The circle of life is a violent shape.
It is when Grandpa's drawing it.
Well, your grandpa's just trying to help you understand there's an order to life. So you don't hate the baby bears when they attack.
I don't hate that baby bear. It was probably hungry and confused.
Well, that's exactly right. That baby bear was so confused it couldn't possibly know what it was doing.
Go 6 on beat. Set. And action.
I think something's wrong with Grandpa. He took off all of his clothes and then he ate a lion.
You weren't at the zoo, were you?
The forest. Grandpa and Marilyn were teaching me about the circle of life and suicidal deer.
The circle of life is a violent shape.
It is when Grandpa's drawing it.
Your grandpa just wants to help you understand that there's an order to life, so you don't hate the baby bears when they attack.
I don't hate that baby bear. It was probably hungry and confused.
That's exactly right. That baby bear was so confused it couldn't possibly know what it was doing.
It's not like it wandered into a populated area. Which reminds me, if Grandpa's gonna start drinking again, don't you think we should warn the neighbors?
Marilyn told you.
No. Grandpa told me when he ate a lion. I think he wanted me to see him eat that lion so I can get used to him eating something big.
The thing Grandpa wants you to know about the circle of life is that he happens to be standing outside of it.
Are you inside the circle or outside the circle?
Well, I am my father's daughter.
We'll just go as fast as we can until they tell us to stop the circle. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. 11? Okay,
Yeah.
1 second.
11.
Okay. Okay. A little bit more. Yeah. That's nice. That's good. That with the twist of the wrist, that's really nice. Like that? Yeah, yeah. Right.
Hans will be back, is that all right?
Jerry, you know Chrome Hearts, right? Oh? Chrome Hearts? Jerry?
Are you excited for your new school? All the new friends you're going to make? Isn't that exciting?
Why are you small talking me?
I'm not small talking.
Well, you're not big talking. Why are you wearing that uniform?
We all have our uniforms.
It gives me structure.
This can be a traumatic time in a boy's life. He needs structure.
Is there something wrong with me?
That is exactly the kind of shame I do not want coming out of your mouth. The only one who has anything to be ashamed of in this family is Marilyn, and she carries it beautifully.
Sugar is bad for you. So are stereotypes.
I wouldn't change a hair on your body, no matter where they may grow.
The original cast member whose name is set today.
Oh my God. Hi, guys.
Much better. Much better.
Oh, wow. Of course.
Hi.
Hey, Carter Mason. How are you? Heard a lot about you.
Hi, Portia. Nice
I know.
to meet you.
How beautiful is this? Ours was all dingy and dark. This is great. Anyway, I was watching backstage. You guys are doing great.
Thank you. And action.
Are you excited for your new school? All the new friends you're going to make? Isn't that exciting?
Why are you small talking me?
I'm not small talking.
Well, you're not big talking. Edward, why are you wearing that uniform?
We all have our uniforms.
It gives me structure.
This can be a traumatic time in a boy's life. He needs structure.
Is there something wrong with me?
Two cameras, B-Mark.
Charlie, Mark. Set. And action.
Are you excited for your new school? All the new friends you're going to make? Isn't that exciting?
Why are you small talking me?
I'm not small talking.
Well, you're not exactly big talking, are you? Edward, why are you wearing that uniform?
We all have our uniforms.
It gives me structure.
This can be a traumatic time in a boy's life. He needs structure.
Is there something wrong with me?
That is exactly the type of shame I do not want coming out of your mouth. The only one who should have shame in this family is Marilyn, and she carries it very well. Kind of shame I do not want coming out of your mouth. The only one that should feel any shame in this family is Marilyn, and she carries it very well.
Sugar's bad for you, and so are stereotypes.
I wouldn't change a hair on your body, no matter where it may grow.
All right. Ready?
Bother everyone, but I'm going to want one after this. Very nice.
Please.
Smile, look at me.
Just like that? Right here. Ready? And action. Door! Let Eddie know that basically action is the door. Ready? And action! Cut. And action!
Grandpa, no, Grandpa.
Grandpa, listen to me. No.
Cut.
I was so intrigued by it because it read like a movie script, and I couldn't quite understand how they were going to shrink all the special effects and all the crazy scenes into a television show. Bryan Fuller took the concept of the original show, The Munsters, and created this world in Mockingbird Lane that has never before existed on television. It's so unique and exciting and rich. These characters are kind of larger than life, and yet they're all so relatable and so human in a way. Yes, things do get killed and eaten, but in a fun way. We're all kind of, as a culture, fascinated with subhuman, superhuman, werewolf-type characters, vampires, because they have certain strengths and powers that we could never imagine having and don't have. But the thing that weakens vampires is love. And for Lily, she has definitely been humanized by these feelings of deep, deep love for her son. And that's kind of what really sinks it into reality, is that we can all feel kind of slightly weakened when we feel so vulnerable, when we love that much. And Herman literally loves so hard that his heart breaks and he needs a new heart all the time. I mean, it's a hard thing for any family to go through. Son, you're a werewolf.